Hey guys! Today I want to talk to you about a few more of my experiences as an expectant father, and I want to focus today on the very first trimester. As you know, Adanna is now just started her third trimester, so we've gone to the first two already, and I thought it would be interesting to just give you a few of the insights from the men's perspective on the very first trimester. Now, the very first thing I would say is to all guys out there, make sure you take the first trimester seriously. Okay, I know it might not look yet like she's pregnant, and all as proof you've seen is the test and a little, some stripes or whatever. And as long as you don't see a bump growing, you might not consider it a pregnancy. But let me tell you, a little human being is already growing inside her stomach, and all the symptoms are real. Okay, so she will already feel more tired, she will experience nausea, and she also, of course, will be already a little bit more anxious and generally more emotional. So very important, take her seriously. And in my case, for example, this is definitely something I would probably do differently next time. I think there were moments where I didn't take her as seriously as I should have. So for example, before, Adanna always had a very healthy lifestyle. She really looks after what she eats, she exercised a lot. And that sort of slightly changed a little bit. Her habits changed a little bit. Her regular exercises changed a little bit, and sort of made the comment like, oh, you didn't used to eat that or something, which is probably one of the worst things you can do at this point in time. And she understandably now, I obviously agree with her, and she got a little bit irritated by it, of course, because that's not exactly what you want to hear. See, these are the things where the body changes. These things are very normal at that time. So this is one of the experiences or situations where, yeah, I clearly should have kept my mouth shut. Now, the second very important thing in the first trimester is obviously the question when you can tell your friends and family. And I have to tell you, I was dying, literally dying to tell my friends and family, mostly my family actually first. And when we talked about it, of course, and I thought, oh yeah, absolutely, we're gonna call them tomorrow. And then, then I obviously, was a bit like, okay, wait, hold on, let's sit down and talk about it, which actually was a very, very good thing, because it turned out that we had slightly different ideas of maybe who to tell first, how to tell them, actually what to say exactly, what to say immediately. And also it's very important to understand that both families, of course, you should be telling both of your families at the same time, because the worst thing you can do is already, sort of create some sort of problems on that level, if one family maybe finds out only an hour early or something. And so it's very important for both of you to be on the same page, because you have to be aware that this is a whole new phase in your life. So I think it's best for you to get used to it first, because as soon as you tell all your workmates, all your friends and all your relatives, you will be bombarded with questions, with phone calls. Everybody suddenly, ask you questions, how you doing, and how's your wife doing, how's the baby doing. And so it's really, trust me, in my case it was really like that. Suddenly everybody stopped me on the corridor, everybody wanted to know how Adanna was doing. So this is really a big change. So again, be prepared first of all, get used to this yourself first for a little while, and then go out and tell everybody. Now, one thing I certainly wasn't quite prepared for was what some people refer to as the phony wall. So what that means is, when in the very beginning something happens, you get super excited about everything is crazy, your life changes, you get so excited about something, but then there's some sort of anti-climax. Okay, so for the pregnancy situation, and I'm sure every first-time parent goes through this, right? You find out that you're expecting, you talk about all these different things now, what needs to change in your life. You rush on the internet to look up strollers, to look up car seats, to look up how to breastfeed. You already order on Amazon the first 10 books for pregnancy, and you just go absolutely crazy. Maybe you have to move houses and everything. But after a couple of days or maybe a few weeks, you actually realize, well, hold on. So this little thing there is now maybe something like 1, 2, maybe 3 months old. So that means there are another 6, 7 or 8 months left until it actually comes out. So there's some sort of realization at some point that, wait, real life actually has to continue. I still need to go to work, right? Both of you, first of all, of course, and even if your partner takes the maternity leave, she will still have to work for another 6, 7 months as well. you very importantly have to still focus on your personal life, right? That still continues, about intimacy and obviously just generally relationship and going out on dates and all those things. So there will be most likely this sort of anticlimax after a while. Just prepare yourself for it. It will happen either way. Even if you know about it, it will probably happen. Emotions just happen anyway. But that was something very interesting for me to experience. And really the best thing at this point you can do for your baby is to actually focus on your work really, really hard, and take the time for the both of you to really talk about everything that's going to happen in the next few weeks and months, and really, really cherish these moments and don't rush things, right? There's still time for everything. I'm not saying leave it to the last minute, but definitely take your time. Do research on all these different things, and with time everything will fall into its place anyway. So now how can we as the expectant fathers help in those moments and in those weeks to support our partners, of course? And I think generally speaking it just means that we'll have to take on most of the chores in the household, right? So when it comes to gardening, when it comes to laundry or cooking, ironing, whatever it takes, even groceries, we just have to really step up our game, okay? I think this is one of the big things we can help. What I tried to do was maybe create even some sort of dad's plan, okay? Create a routine for yourself when you come home from work. First thing you do is the dishwasher maybe, then you check the laundry, because clearly your partner by then will have already crashed on the sofa, falling asleep, within 5 minutes normally, and probably not waking up until you carry her to the bedroom. So, get ready for this. And secondly, maybe as important as the actual physical support you give is also on the emotional side. So make sure that you support your partner emotionally, that you comfort her. She will go through some sort of emotional ups and downs. You need to be there for her. There might be some anxious moments or some sort of, a bit of scary moments as well about the future, because it's very uncertain the first time both of you are going through this. And yeah, again, try to be there for her, try to comfort her and support her with everything she's going through. Now, another thing that's going to come up in the first few weeks and months are appointments. So these could be scans such as the early pregnancy scan, or appointments at the hospital where you'll do the booking and registering. And I think, personally speaking, it's very important that we try as supportive husbands or partners and expectant fathers to really try to be there. And of course I understand that not maybe in every single case it's possible due to work, but I think if you can, and if you somehow can arrange for it, I think it's really, really great. Basically these are the moments, especially the scans, where you'll see your child for the very, very first time. And this is a unique moment, of course. This is not going to come back, even if it's your third or fourth child. For each individual child, these moments are precious and unique. So I really tried my best to always be there for the early pregnancy scan, for the first appointment at the hospital, and every appointment since then. This is another sign of, of support, another sign that you're interested in everything that's happening. And one thing to keep in mind, which is very, very normal, probably going to happen to you, is you're going to be in those appointments and your partner and the nurses and doctors are going to have this full-on conversation about all this jargon they use, and you don't understand anything, okay? Happened to me as well. One thing I can tell you, make sure you ask questions, okay? Because not only does it show yet again that you're interested in everything that is happening with your partner as well and with the child, but also you can actually use this later on to impress your partner, because you suddenly can just drop this sort of, oh yeah, sure, the EDD is so and so. You can also impress your mates at work. So things that will come up most likely are, as I just mentioned, EDD, which is the expected date of delivery. So these are some of the things that might come up, and it will become quite handy later on if you actually know them. So if you don't know it, just ask questions. Now, the last point that I think is important in the first trimester is that, in as much as, of course, it's very important for the mother to already start eating healthy, but I would also argue that it's actually important for the expectant father and for the partners to also get into some sort of healthy routine. Because you just heard that all the chores that are coming up, so you actually do need to be physically healthy. I also believe that it serves some sort of as a motivation for your partner. There are usually two groups of partners, I would say, husbands. Number one, sort of feel sorry for their partner and start eating as well, and they actually do experience phantom pregnancy. It's actually a real thing, which is also referred to as the Kuwadi syndrome. And there's the second group of partners, which I think, makes sense, and this is sort of what I try to adopt to, was to become more active, okay, to stay healthy as well, to actually serve as some sort of motivation to the partner. Okay, so in Adanna's case as well, we try to, maybe go for regular walks, maybe on the weekends, for example, and it also serves as a great bonding time, okay, because in those periods now, everything is gonna get busy, you still have your work, you now have to plan for the baby, so it's very important you guys find the time to spend, time together as a couple. And I believe those sort of moments where you go out for a walk maybe, or you do some exercise together, yoga is a very good thing as well, you guys could go swimming together. These moments can really be very, very precious and very important to talk about some things and really, really take the time together. Now, rumor actually has it that there are some very specific expectant father exercises, such as the pregnant man's press-ups, the delivery room deep squats, and one of my favorites, the prenatal pop-up planks. So really there are no excuses, they are actually specifically designed exercises for us expectant fathers, so guys, get going. Alright, that's it for today. These are some of the topics that came up during our first trimester and some of the experiences that I had with Adanna. I hope this was interesting, I hope maybe it was also useful to some of you, and I hope you'll tune in for the next video as well. Thanks guys, bye bye. Pregnant women are, that have all these hormones, trust me, they're real. And it's serious. So we have to understand as men as well, in as much as we feel maybe shocked or afraid of things, we have to be very considerate for the women.